Well, hello everyone, welcome to Primal Prepper, or welcome back to Primal Prepper if you are a regular viewer, and thank you if you are. Now, yes, totally different backdrop. I'm in a hotel, I'm working, oh no, that's on the screen. Should I stop and start again? No, why not? Let's just carry on. Yes, I'm in a hotel, I'm working away today, but it's a rare chance to see me out of my element and in some other location. Let's start with the intro. I've actually written notes for this video and I'm off them already. Fantastic. We're doing prophecies today, and it's not something I've really ever seen preppers talk about or deal with. I have another tarot channel. I have another YouTube channel. It's a tarot channel where I do tarot readings and things. I am a spiritual sort of person, and I do look into prophecies and things. Obviously, you've got the best prophecy book in the world, which has 100% hit ratio at the moment, the Bible. And there are other prophecies books out there. You've got Nostradamus, you've got Baba Vanga from... where did she come from? Bulgaria. Okay. And yes, they're a little bit cryptic and things. And, well, perhaps the Bible was pretty cryptic as well before people started translating it into what they wanted it to be. I don't know. But today we are dealing with the Simpsons. Okay. The Simpsons have prophesized all sorts of things. And there are various different reasons for this. Like we've probably seen the pictures, seen the episodes maybe of Donald Trump going down the escalators and Homer Simpson is standing behind him and the show carries on. But then the exact same thing happens years in the future. There's video footage, news broadcasts of Donald Trump going down the escalators, same people in the crowd, same clothes. The only thing which is missing is a balding yellow man, okay, with 3 fingers. And because The Simpsons is not real. But, yeah, so right, okay. So there we go. We've got The Simpsons. They do make predictions, and these predictions seem to have an uncanny habit of coming right. Now, my views on this, the reason they have such a good hit ratio is because of manifestations, okay? Now, I don't mean like ghostly apparitions happening. I mean the theory of we all create our own world and universe around us by thinking of what we want in life. Okay, we've heard that like you attract what you are. You are what you eat, and things like that. Yeah, you bring into your world the things you want. Now, The Simpsons is obviously a TV program. It's viewed by probably millions of people at the same time when it comes out and when it's aired. And all these people see the same thing. And then that's in their head. And even if it's in a subconscious part, they start thinking about it. And they all start manifesting it into their own universe, okay, their own life around them. And yes, okay, big yellow fat balding men don't suddenly appear, but the events that they've watched on that channel do. Okay, like Donald Trump going down the escalators. There's another one where Donald Trump's holding, I think it's a lit up globe, and he's got 2 people either side of him. Okay, and years later, that actually manifested into reality. So there's the whys and wherefores. Obviously, there are other theories of how they are so good. There's theories that these producers of The Simpsons or the writers of The Simpsons have come to here from the future to try to warn us about what's coming. Okay, that's a possibility. Why not? Or there's the more logical fact, and this is what the actual writers of The Simpsons say as well. We put so many ideas out there, 1 or 2 are bound to come true. Okay, so there is that. And so just glancing at my notes, because I'm trying to get back onto my notes, let's deal with their current predictions. They have got numerous mentions for 2026. Now, these aren't direct mentions. Lots of these are scenes in the background, billboards, what say things on it, stuff like that. You blink and you miss them. And that's the idea. They're meant to be there for your subconscious to pick up on, not actually your conscious to pick up on. So there are lots of videos out there currently doing the rounds on YouTube, some of which I have watched. Obviously, hundreds I probably haven't watched, but they're all sort of saying that the Simpsons are predicted the next 6 months for America. Okay, so we're talking from January up until June. And I was going to do one big long video, but I've now decided I'm going to just literally do these in 3 parts. January, February, March, April, May and June. Okay, over the next 3 or 4 weeks or so. Simply because I've been running out of time to actually get it out. Because if I carried on trying to get the whole lot out in one go, and it'd be February sometime and we would have missed January. So let's crack on with it. Now, before we do crack on with it, it's bad, isn't it? I've literally got a script in front of me. I've got notes in front of me, and I'm just going off on my own because that's what I do. Before we crack on with actually the predictions that they have made, and remember, it's for America because The Simpsons is an American program. Okay, so for you people who living in Britain who might be watching me, Australia, Russia, China, why not? It's not really dealing with you because, well, unless you're interacting with the Americans, it's not part of their life. It's an American program. But that's not what I was going to say. What I was going to say was I have forgotten because I rambled off onto something else. Why is this something that preppers should actually take notice of? Because why not? If there is something out there which has a regular, correct prediction rate, well, why not listen to their more major predictions, they say? So let's listen. In January, the Simpsons are basically predicting a very, very, very cold January for the Americas, the North America, to be precise, not the Americas. Okay, I've heard news reports that it's getting down to Mexico, which is in Central America. So yes, the Americas, but this isn't just your regular run-of-the-mill cold. Okay, this is going to be like freeze your bollocks off cold. This is brass monkeys cold. This is the sort of cold people refer back to in decades' time, saying, oh, do you remember the winter of? In my particular case, it would be like, well, do you remember the winter of discontent, which was in 1963? I obviously don't remember that. I'm not that old. Yes, I might have grey in my beard and I might have a receding hairline, but trust me, I'm not that old. But in England, we had an extremely harsh winter, which, to be fair, is being predicted a little bit over the next coming weeks for us as well. So watch this place and you might see some videos of it. So let's start. In season 29, The Full Monty, okay, there is a calendar in the background. And I will just point out now, I haven't actually watched any of these episodes, or if I have watched these episodes, it was a long time ago when they first came out, and I weren't paying that much attention to them. But there are people who trawl through these episodes, frame by frame, looking for keys to the future. So some are probably trying to do it to be rich because The Simpsons have predicted sporting event outcomes, and others are doing it so they can get ready for what is happening, prepared. And that's why this is coming out on a prepping channel, because I could quite simply do this on my other channel, my tarot reading channel, as a spiritual thing, but I've decided to grace you lot with it. So there is a calendar in the background, and for a frame, that's all it is, one little frame. It is a blink. If blink and you miss it, it says January 26, or 2026, and it has a thermometer next to it showing sub-zero temperatures. Okay, and bear in mind that this is sub-zero for you Americans, which use Fahrenheit, so that's extremely cold. Okay, that's like trees exploding because the sap inside them are freezing cold. Okay, that's freeze your balls off cold. And so that's our first one. In season 23, Yeah, the episode which is titled The Man in the Blue Flannel Pants. God, they come up with some good titles on The Simpsons, don't they? There is a character who has like literally a throwaway line, a comment in passing, who says, the January freeze of 26, okay, when everything stopped. You can see why this is starting to fall into the realms of prepping, isn't it? Right, just bear with me while I move on to the next load of notes. And sorry if you hear the paper rustling. All right, and in the episode titled Them Robots, which it isn't about like the freeze or anything like that. It's about robots taking over. And that'll be a totally different prediction for a totally different video, because this one's the 2026 video. It is in season 23 again. And there's a news broadcast on in the background. Again, it's all these things are always in the background. Remember that. And that's because they're general things which are happening. It's things that happen in the background around your little individual life. You're leading your life. You're driving to work. You're coming home, and all that, and all this other stuff happens around you. And most of it you don't notice. That's why these little Easter eggs, if you will, are in the background of most of these things. Okay, so there is a new news broadcast, and on it has January 26, remembered as the month America froze. So we're gearing up. The Simpsons are really throwing out there. We've now got 3 episodes where they're really throwing out there that everything's freezing. Everything's freezing. Okay, big snow, big freeze. So for January, the Simpsons are predicting an extra cold start to the year. Maybe the worst ever recorded in history. Okay, I'm not a historian. If you are a historian watching this, fantastic. I love historians. Let me know. Let me know what the worst recorded winter was in your part of the world. Not necessarily America, but in your part of the world. Okay, so yes, it could be the worst winter in recorded history. And from what I hear in the news reports, as I've already mentioned, I've heard that the snow and ice might be getting as far south as Mexico. It's shaping up that they're correct. Okay, it's you're getting a massive snow bomb. You've already had some bad weather, some bad snow at the beginning of the month, and now you're getting even more coming in from another polar vortex. So, okay, it looks like the Simpsons are right, but hang on a minute, we ain't finished with January and the Simpsons, because there is another one. There's more from an episode called The 10% Solution. Okay, and in the 10% Solution, and I think that's from season 23, there is another news-related thing. It's the news tickers will go along the bottom of the screen. God, if I was technical, I would have it going across the bottom of the screen. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Unfortunately, I'm not that savvy with technology. So, on a news ticker going across the bottom of the screen, again, it's in the background. It reads, Northeast powerless as January cold overwhelms the grid. So we're not just talking about trees exploding because the sap is freezing. We're talking about the infrastructure not being able to cope with it. So this is where this really falls into the realms of prepping. Okay, yeah, I've mentioned trees blowing up because sap's freezing, and trust me, it happens. Okay, so put your Kevlar vest on. Make sure you don't get shrapnel, because I'm telling you, getting a splinter out of a bit of wood which has been prepared is bad enough. When it's coming flying through the air at God knows what speed at you, well, that could be rim lipping. So it's talking about no power. Okay, the infrastructure collapsing, and needing to take precautions for that. Getting alternative heating systems, and don't think, it's okay. I've got an oil boiler. I've got a gas boiler. I've got a little electric cable that runs to it, which keeps the pilot light lit. Just let that sink in for a minute. Okay. And the other thing is, gas only works well to a certain temperature. If it gets too cold, it don't work as well. Okay, it starts to work badly. Carbon monoxide starts coming out of it because it's not burning properly. Oil becomes sluggish when it gets cold, and probably starts blocking your jets in your boiler. So have alternative forms of heating, especially if your sole form of heating is electric. But electricity isn't just for your heating. You've got to think about your water as well. Yeah, you turn on your tap, your faucet, whatever you want to call it. In those sort of temperatures, you're not getting water coming out of that. The pipes are freezing. Okay, and the pipes may even be freezing under the ground, where it stays a pretty constant temperature. Okay, even if you're lucky enough that your pipes aren't freezing and the power goes out, you might only have 24 hours of backup power at the water station, which is feeding your area. Okay, and just bear that in mind. Stock up with some water. I know at the end of the day, if you've got a shitload of snow, if there's 2 foot of it outside your front door, just get a pan of snow and let it melt. Just remember to put it through your filters and make sure it's all clean. Right, don't eat the yellow snow. That's not lemon. Okay, so there was another one, the 10% solution. So let's look at to see what the Simpsons predict for February. Okay, because we've done January, it's gonna freeze. So in the Saga of Kyle, which comes from season 24. So you can actually, if you want, you can check these out. You can have a look at these, and then you can come back and write comments on my video saying, Simon, you're full of bollocks. There weren't any of that in any of those. And if there's not, well, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm just literally going off other videos I've seen. As I said, I haven't seen The Simpsons for a long, long time, and I can't watch it at the moment because I don't have Disney Plus. But, so if you're watching Disney Plus, I'll take a sponsorship. Give me free Disney Plus and I'll plug you every now and then. So anyway, in a Saga of Kyle, there is a scene showing a major city flooding. And visible in the background is a calendar. It's always a calendar, isn't it? It's a calendar showing February 26th. So there we go, a major city. Okay, the Simpsons don't actually say what major city it is, but it shows a major city. So I don't know, maybe there's some details within that major city which hasn't been quite picked up yet. Maybe one little landmark which determines which major city it was. Maybe it's Miami, maybe it's Chicago, maybe it's, I don't know, Los Angeles. I'm trying to think of American cities on coasts, and I'm not doing a very good job because I don't live in America. Maybe it's New York. Okay, so in season 23, Moonshine River, a character mentions the February floods. Okay, again, it's one of these throwaway lines. It's like hearing one of the people in the pub talking about it just as Homer's coming in for his drink or something like that. And again, I don't know if that's where it is because I haven't watched it, but go and check it out. Remember, I'm not an expert in The Simpsons. As I say in my little bio on my main channel page, I'm a carpenter. I'm an expert in wood. But apart from that, I dabble with predictions and the future and things because I do tarot readings, but I wouldn't say I'm an expert in that. So that's a throwaway line. This would make sense as well, because if there's lots of snow and lots of ice around in January, and then it starts to get warm in February, and that ice and snow melts, it creates a lot of meltwater. Okay, it's like a big bank. If a good way of thinking of this is the way the weather forecasters work out how much snow is going to fall is it's a times 10 the water if it was rain. So if you have a foot of, and this is gonna rack my brains trying to work this one out. If you had a foot of snow, 12 inches of snow, and that would be 1.2 inches. So that would be about an inch and a quarter of rain. But then it's all melting within a day. So it's flood making material. Okay. And so, yeah, this would make sense. Okay. So let's carry on. In The Daughter Also Rises from season 23, and my notes are starting to get a bit sketchy now. There is here we go. We've had the calendar. It's the news report this time. There's a news report about February. I don't like this word. I really don't. Unprecedented. I think it gets way too overused. And just the wording of it only really works if you have a president as a leader. We don't have a president as a leader, so really nothing's unprecedented over here. But anyway, it literally means there is no president for it. But it's pronounced wrong, isn't it? It's presidents. Anyway, yeah. Then sorry, this is in speech marks because it comes from the episode, the news report about February's unprecedented water crisis affecting both coasts. Yes, that's a water-related disaster on the East Coast and the West Coast. So remember, we had that news article about the Northeast being crippled, or the infrastructure coming to a halt because of the snow and ice. That's one coast, the East Coast. So it's also happening on the West Coast as well, but it's not the same. As I said, remember a major. Remember earlier I mentioned about a major city being flooded. It's coming. It's coming. It's there. It's in The Simpsons. It shows it, but you do have to look for it, and it don't date it when it's showing it. But if you put all the pieces together, you can come up with your own conclusions. Right. So on the East Coast, The Simpsons are predicting flooding and storm surges overwhelming the infrastructure again. This is after it's already been crippled by the freezing weather of January. You've then got floods and storm surges putting even more pressure on that infrastructure. And again, this is why this falls into the prepping world. And because one of the things we are all prepping for is the breakdown of infrastructure, one way or another. Whatever the disaster is, what happens, it breaks down the infrastructure. And this could be something massive like a super volcano going off, or it could be just something little like a big snowstorm and you can't get to the shops. It breaks down your own personal infrastructure. So, but on the opposite side, or I should say not on the opposite side, it is the opposite, on the opposite side of America. And on the opposite of that, they're predicting that the West Coast is going to be suffering with severe droughts, causing water shortages and rationing. Now, I've never experienced rationing, okay? I think it may have happened when I was a very little child during a really hot summer. But there must be some of you out there watching it who come from countries where you have experienced rationing. It's not like an old extinct thing. Okay, where normally I would imagine over in Eastern Europe at the moment, there are certain countries out there they're experiencing rationing sort of situations. I won't be talking too much about that. It's not in The Simpsons. We're not talking about it, or not yet anyway. Not in February or January. But there'll be rationing. Okay. Now, obviously, if it's going to be rationed, you might be entitled to 3 litres of water a day. And maybe you have to have a card to show how many people are living in your residence. So you're entitled 3 litres of water per resident. Or if we're talking, I don't know, Americans, you use gallons. Maybe you're restricted to a gallon of water a day. Now, you can obviously overcome this a little bit. You may look like a selfish person, but you can put your water aside. Okay, you can store your own water now while it still comes out of your taps, while you can still put it through your filters. Do it. Okay, if you're a prepper, you should be doing it already. Okay, And don't forget your community. Yeah, you might only be entitled to a gallon of water, but there might be someone out there who has a condition where they need more and they're not getting it from the government. So yeah, help out, help other people. Don't forget, especially during those cold months, cold month of January, don't forget to check on your neighbours. Yeah, that can be the difference between life and death. They might have some faulty gas appliance and they might be passed out moments away from death, and you drag them out of their house. Yeah, you save their life. It makes a huge difference. And also remember, yeah, prepping is about actually surviving these things and going on to the future. If you're a lone prepper, if you're a lone wolf, if you don't have the community around you, if you're not bothered by the community around you, well, you're only going on for one generation, and then that defeats the purpose of why you actually live in the first place. So, where did I get to on my notes? Rationing. In the tree, a tree grows in Springfield from season 24, and a lot of these are in season 24, aren't they? I don't know. There is a newspaper in the background, dated February 14th. Okay, Valentine's Day, 2026. It has a headline reading, "Major city evacuates due to rising water." Okay, now the Simpsons, as I've already said, they do not name this city directly, but they do leave lots of hints in multiple different episodes, and they show New York. A lot of these episodes are like flash forward ones, like Bart from the future and things like that. So yeah, they do show New York is underwater, but they show New York with very many different things as well. Okay, they show the Statue of Liberty being used as an advertisement thing. So there are variations, and this could be another reason. Yeah, perhaps they do have a crystal ball, perhaps they are tapping into future events, but they can't be sure exactly what future event is actually going to be happening for us right now. Okay, so they put it out there. All of the different ones, the most likely ones. Okay, all different timelines. Think of Marvel's multiverse. Yeah, that's a head fuck, isn't it? Okay, so January is snow, ice. February, floods, droughts. Okay, and these will affect us all in different ways, and we can get around them. We've been told the possibility might be now. It might be happening now. And as I've already mentioned, with the sort of reports and things I hear out of my various different people I watch on YouTube, and just general people I actually know, yeah, the weather is shaping up to be like the Simpsons are saying. So if that's right, why wouldn't February be right? Why is no one taking the precautions about the flooding, which is a logical step after massive snow, at the same time? Okay, so both of these events are crippling infrastructure as well. So what about March? Well, March will be coming in my next episode, for the simple fact that I don't have any notes for March yet, because I'm a busy person. I work full time. In fact, I work time and a half most of the time. It's like 80-hour weeks, but I will be working on it. It will be coming out in the next few days to maybe a week, and then we will do March and whatever comes after March, April, and we'll see what the Simpsons have in store for us then. Now, I'm going to wrap this video up. Please feel free, leave any comments you like. If you find that I am talking out of my arsehole and just following the crowd, please let me know in the comments. Let me know what the weather is like in your area at the moment, especially if you are from America, and especially if this snow bomb which is coming is shaping up to be exactly as the Simpsons are predicting it, because that would just be fantastic to know. Not fantastic for you lot going through it, but it'd be fantastic to know that it's right. If you don't like this video, it's absolutely fine. Give it the thumbs down. I don't mind, but do me a solid. Can you let me know in the comments why you didn't like the video? because like I can't read your mind. No one can read minds. Maybe God can, if you believe in God, but no one else can. So yeah, let me know in the comments why you didn't like the video. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel and you like this content, let me know in the comments that you like this content. I will do more of this sort of content. If you have recently found my channel and you have not subscribed yet and you have checked out some of my other videos, let me know what videos you like. Let me know what videos you don't like, and that will help me work towards your viewing pleasure. And yeah, hopefully you will all join me soon on my next video, whatever one it may be, if it's the next installment of the Simpsons prophecies, or if it is about the predicted winter of discontent 2026 coming for England. We will see, or Britain. Okay, I'm now going to go off and try to create a thumbnail for this video. Wish me luck, because I am, again, not technically savvy. So it's going to be a struggle, because it's not something I could just take a photo of and put a title over. Until the next time, remember, don't be scared, be prepared. Well, hello everyone, welcome back to Primal Prepper if you are a regular viewer. If you are new here, then welcome to Primal Prepper, and I hope you enjoyed the channel and think about going back and having a look at my back catalogue of videos and seeing what else I do other than talking about Simpson predictions. Okay, now, this is obviously a prepping channel. The idea of this is like getting ready for unforeseen events, be it severe winter storms, power outages, water being cut off unexpectedly, to the much bigger things like super volcanoes going off, etc., etc. But I'm doing prophecies. Okay, so yes, this is a little intro. If you've watched the first one and you're coming into this one, straight into this one, then I'm sorry. And if you're watching all three all rolled into one video, then again, I'm sorry that I'm going over this bit. I might edit it out, I don't know. But for for those of you who are watching me for the first time, this is your first video, and then basically the Simpsons, get my teeth in, Simon. The Simpsons have an amazingly good track record of getting the future right. Now, there are multiple different reasons for this. The actual producers of The Simpsons say we throw so much stuff out there, some of it's bound to stick eventually. Yeah, which is true, the laws of averages and all that. The other theory could be that they're from the future and they're trying to help us in bad times. Again, that could be a theory. My personal one I go with is mass manifestation. Basically, thousands, hundreds of thousands, perhaps even millions of people all watch The Simpsons at the same time, or within a small period of time. They all see the subliminal things within The Simpsons, even if they don't realize it, and then they all inadvertently manifest. Now, manifest is when you create the own things you want in your own life through your thoughts. And now, basically, this is like thinking that you are really popular, telling yourself in the mirror that you are amazing and everyone likes you, and eventually people start liking you and everyone you bump into thinks you're a great, amazing person. Some of it is real, some of it's not, some of it's just a bubble you produce around yourself, and then something comes and pops it, and others of it is real manifestation. Okay, you hear these stories about people who said, I just knew that I was going to do a certain thing by a certain time in my life, and it happened because I kept on manifesting it. Now, with The Simpsons, obviously, they put out their cartoon, millions of people watch it, they all start manifesting it, it happens. So we've already covered January and February. This is part 2, which is March and April. Okay, January is amazingly cold weather for the northern states of America, in particular, leading to infrastructure failures and the like. February was followed by floods and droughts, depending on what side of the Americas you are on. Okay, so that basically covers that. If you haven't watched it yet, I will stick a link in the description. I might even put an end screen up at the end of this video. If you don't want to wait that long, you can just skip to the end and go and watch the first one now if you want. That's absolutely fine. I don't mind. But yeah, so I'll stick a end screen up so you can link into that first video and watch the first part. Bearing in mind, while I'm videoing this, we're right at the end of January. It's day 2, the beginning of day 3 of the winter storms over in America. So yes, they look like they're hitting the mark with January. Obviously, it's still wait and see if there's flooding on the East Coast in February and drought on the West Coast in February. But we're not here to deal with January and February. We're here to deal with March and April. Now, for The Simpsons, March was a month of politics. Okay, March 2026 is a month of politics. They predict lots of political things, all centering around actually the same kind of core. They show that March, the US government reaches basically the peak of dysfunctionality. Okay, obviously, if you live in America, I say obviously, if you live in America, you probably know that the government is now lobbying the Congress about getting payments again. I can't get my head around that bit. The government shouldn't have to be saying, I need this money to pay my people. It should just be given to them. Okay. Now, perhaps if the government's saying, I need this money to go and invade Venezuela, then yes, perhaps there could be an issue about, well, do you really need this money? Do you really need to go and invade Venezuela? But this is the day-to-day running of the government. They shouldn't have to ask for this money. It should just be given. But anyway, I'm not American. It's not my politics. So yes, it basically reaches a point of dysfunctionality in March. Now, in the episode The Kid Is All Right, from season 20, bad notes, and that could be 23, could be 25. I'm not entirely sure from my handwriting. I know, I should have. This is a prepping channel. This should be really well prepared. Yeah, season 20 something. There is a scene showing the Capitol building in chaos. There is people protesting outside. What are they protesting about? It doesn't exactly say. And you've probably seen real life footage of protests where you got 8 different signs up saying 10 different things on it. So, but the people outside Congress are, or the Capitol building, are all in protest. And it appears to be about the fact that Congress is being in a deadlock. Okay, so that's what it sort of visualizes. And during this particular episode, this particular scene, there is a visible date showing of March 2026 on a calendar. Okay, and obviously this would be in the background. If you watch the first one, you know a lot of this stuff is all in the background. It's never out front. It's never right up there because, well, if they put it right up there, out front, it would no longer be a comedy cartoon show. It would then be a political show. Okay, so that's our first episode, which the Simpsons are predicting a March meltdown in the government. Now, in the God, I will apologize. I wrote this while I was in a van traveling. I think it's the whistling father is meant to be, or the something. I really should go and check this again before I might edit that out and put something. Anyway, from season 29. There is dialogue mentioning the March. Oh, it's actually written there as well. The March Madness in Washington, and I'm not talking about the basketball. Okay, that's what's written down. That's the dialogue, and that's not what I'm talking about. I wouldn't know anything about basketball. If there was any American sport I would know a little bit about, it'd be your football. Okay, so there is that. In the episode titled Krusty the Clown from season 26, a news anchor says March 2026 marks 3 months of logistical Do you know, I got another channel. This is one of the reasons I'm doing this, because I got another channel. It's a tarot tarot channel. And I can't say paralysis on that one either, but I managed it there. So logistical paralysis is one I have to learn, okay? Penicillin used to be a very similar one for me. I never used to be able to pronounce that. I had to sit down. I do have learning difficulties after all, so I will have to sit myself down and train myself how to say paralysis properly. Okay, especially in general conversation without thinking about it. So, according to The Simpsons, this dysfunction actually starts in January. Okay, which, well, we all know, because I think it's the end of January is when the government runs out of funding and they need to refresh their funding. And worse, or it worsens, I should say, in February, and come March time, it has reached a breaking point, or even already broken, yeah, to the point of being unable to actually pass any basic legislation or agree on anything, really. So, okay, so wait a second, I'm just going to move my notes so I can actually read them a bit better without having to look round the camera all the time. Okay, so I'm back. Sorry about the little jump and the little pause there. In Bully, yeah, bull as in the animal, not bull as in the bouncy, in season 33, in a TV in the background is showing breaking news. Okay, so you know the thing. I'll be the news presenter, blah blah blah, and behind me, breaking news written above my head, and on a little ticker on the bottom, it's telling me what that breaking news is while the news presenter is actually talking about it. And it says constitutional crisis declared March 2026. Okay, now that particular episode is not clarifying exactly what that crisis is. It's just saying it's just there. It's telling us it's there. There's a constitutional crisis. Now, there are Easter eggs, okay, from other episodes. These Easter eggs don't really mean much until you put everything together. And these Easter eggs suggest there's a conflict between different branches of government. Obviously, again, I say obviously, it's not obvious because you might not be from America like I'm not. But if you're American, you know that you have different parts of government. You have the judicial system, you have the, I don't know the others, okay? So, yeah, there you go. Let me know in the comments what these three are. And if you actually see there being disagreements between them, because obviously you are on the front line in America when it comes to talking about your government. So let me know in the comments about the state of your governmental affairs, and if you think the Simpsons are actually getting it bang on the nail in a couple of months' time. So yes, the government branches, they're not seeing eye to eye, and the experts, it's so severe, the experts are actually calling it a crisis. Okay, so let's have a little look-see at what comes next. April comes next after that. So that was us covering March for a little while. Actually, before I finish, because obviously January was all about like the snow and the cold. February was all about flooding and drought, which are both weather-related things, all because the Simpsons decided that they were going to cover the political side of society when it comes to March. It does not mean all of a sudden the really weird, strange, wacky weather has stopped. There will still be storms. There will still be stuff happening in March, probably following on from previous things, like obviously in the first video. It says fucking obviously again. In the first video I done, I did make the standout point that after you have a lot of snow, you tend to get a little bit of flooding because all that snow melts off, and normally within a day or two of each other, and it's a combination of like maybe a month's worth of rain all sitting there building up, and then it all comes out in a couple of days. It creates havoc and flooding. So there will be a follow-on from that. The flooding will create problems which put pressure on the government, and the snow and the ice in its first month will create problems which will put pressure on the government. They will have to spend extra money where they weren't expecting to spend it, which is why there's probably a political deadlock come March. These things are all linked. Everything is always linked. Remember that there is never ever a standalone thing. So come April the 2026, the predictions are switching back to the environment, okay? Or more to the point, natural disasters, geological and volcanic. I'm saying volcanic because that's what the program I watched, or the YouTube video I watched, one of the YouTube videos I watched about all this, said. And they didn't actually mention anything about volcanoes going off in their video. But no doubt there will be. Okay, as I said with the government thing, everything else keeps happening. Okay, so there probably will be volcanoes going off in April. Maybe there'll be a volcanic uptake in April. Maybe there'll be a few sleeping volcanoes which decide to waken up. Maybe even some of your American volcanoes like Hood or Rainier, or perhaps even I don't know, what's the other one? St. Helens might become active. I'm not saying that they're going to create a huge problem, but maybe they'll start smoking out the top of them or bulging to show that there is an eruption present. Okay, so multiple episodes show ground shaking. The West Coast is in crisis. California is facing the big one. Okay, that's what the general gist of April is for The Simpsons. The episode titled "The Man Who Came to Have Dinner," okay, from season 26, and I'm not sure. Maybe we've mentioned this one before, or maybe I just watched this video so many times, or this one particular video so many times to get the information out of it. It's just stuck in my head. But that seems really familiar. I might be thinking of the man in the flannel pants. It could be that. Okay. But anyway, the Man Who Came to Have Dinner in season 26, there's a scene showing a news footage of the earthquake damage. Okay, so the actual aftermath of the earthquakes. And the date stamp shows April 2026. Yeah, this one's a bit of a mouthful for me. In Teenage Mutant Milk Causes Hurdles, okay, from season 27. They come up with some wicked titles, the Simpsons do, don't they? A character says, "Remember April 26th, when the earth wouldn't stop shaking." Now, I'm just going to put in a little point at this, yeah, without actually going and seeing that episode, trawling over it myself, getting the original dialogue and script for it. There's a bit of controversy in my mind about this. Now, the video I was watching said April 26th. Now, that could be any April 26th in any year. Okay? Because generally speaking, when people are talking about like a month and a year, they wouldn't say 6th. They would say, "Do you remember April 26th?" Yeah? As in, because we don't call it 2026, we call it 2026. So there is a little bit of controversy in my mind about that one. It might be the exact date of any year, or it might be that year. I'm not 100% sure. I'm just putting that one out there right now, just in case. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought I had to point that out. It popped into my head, and being a tarot reader and an energy reader, if something just pops into your head randomly like that, it's normally for a reason. Okay, in another episode titled 20 for 30 in season 28, there is a reference to the April quakes that changed the coast, or the West Coast, forever. Okay, another point of note here, it's a plural, quakes, more than one. Okay, so this isn't just one massive super quake. This is going to be multiple smaller ones, I suppose. And to be fair, I have lots of interests. I'm a prepper. I do tarot readings. If you want to go and check out my tarot channel, please feel free. I might actually put these videos on my tarot channel as well. But anyway, So yeah, there's this the scientists. I also like volcanics and earthquakes and the stuff. So I do follow the those general things as well. Generally speaking, the scientists all agree on the fact that the big one, which would affect California and the San Andreas Fault and the I can't remember the other one. It goes that way across the Pacific into America, and the Cascadia Fault. It actually links the Cascadia Fault and the San Andreas together. And when it pops back into my head, I will probably blurt it out. But they don't think it's just going to be one massive earthquake which is going to cause it. They think there's going to be a chain of earthquakes. One reasonably big one releasing pressure, putting more pressure on further down the line. Think of unzipping a coat, okay? It will be like that. More than one big, massive earthquake. Now, the Simpsons got even more specific in the episode Gone Boy from season 29. There's a calendar showing April 18th, 2026, circled in red. Okay, and next to that circle is the word shake. Okay, well, now this could be literally a dietary plan that someone's decided that they needed a reminder of, and they circled it and put shake next to it because that's the day they have their protein shake instead of a meal. Could be, I don't know, this is all speculation, but it could also be that's the date. 18th of April. So if you are on the West Coast, just bear that in mind. Maybe it's a nice time to take a week's vacation inland, away from the coast. When I say inland, I'm talking Nevada. Okay, so there is that for you. Yes, it's got the word shake written next to it. And coincidentally, if there's such thing as a coincidence, and if you watch my tarot channel, then you know there's not such a thing as a coincidence. Everything is connected. I've already mentioned it in this video once. Thus, this is why it's the 120th anniversary of the Great San Francisco earthquake of 1906. And again, here we go. The scientists will say, well, earthquakes won't follow anniversary days. They happen when they happen. True. Just tell that to the New Yorkers who are now facing another potential record-breaking snowfall year, which happens to end in a 6. Okay, I saw a little video about this, and 2026, they're currently going through it. They're predicted record-breaking snowfall. 2016, 2006, 1996. You go and check them out and see the snow totals of those years and then compare them to other years. Okay, so yeah, tell that to New Yorkers. Yeah, nature don't follow these anniversaries. Every 10 years, let's really dump on New York. Anyway, so that was New York, and that is also the end of the video. Oh, New York, as mentioned before, might be underwater by then, who knows. So next, we will be going into May and June to finish off these videos. If you like this video, please feel free, give it a thumbs up. Let me know that you liked it. Feel free to drop anything in the comments, your views on The Simpsons and how they have such a great correction rate for their predictions. Did I call it predictions? Simpsons predictions. Let me know anything else you want. Let me know if you're worried about the big one on the West Coast. Let me know if you're worried about the governmental problems within your country. And again, it doesn't have to be America. It doesn't matter what country you're from. Just get in touch. It kind of might make you feel a lot better just actually expressing yourself somewhere. So there you go, all that. If you didn't like this video, you can give it a thumbs down. That's absolutely fine. I don't mind. Can you let me know in the comments why? Yes, I've mentioned I'm a tarot reader. I'm not a mind reader, okay? So let me know in the comments why you gave it a thumbs down. I might be able to put it right in future episodes. Maybe you don't like my backdrop. Maybe you don't like my Hobbit picture up on the wall. Yeah, fine. I can take it down for my videos. Not a problem. But I need to know that that's what it is you gave it the thumbs down for, if you're that petty. Don't forget to share this out to other like-minded people, other preppers, or other people who are just into predictions and things. It's not just solely down to the prepper. Okay. Until the next time, hopefully I will get this video out quite quickly, and the next video out, I'll be pushing it for the end of January, but definitely sometime in February, if not. I have got another video coming out soon, which is about the expected winter spell we're going to have in the UK in a few days' time, starting in a few days' time, which I have heard some people mention could be as bad as the winter of discontent. Okay, which something in my head is saying, well, that's another anniversary there, Simon. But anyway, enough of all that. Until the next time you're watching one of my videos, just remember, don't be scared, be prepared. Well, hello everyone, welcome back to Primal Prepper. We are doing the last of the Simpsons 6-month run of predictions they have made for the first 6 months of the year 2026. Now, obviously, we have already gone through the first month. Their prediction was pretty good. They said there's going to be cold, but they were sort of saying like real record-breaking cold and like infrastructure crippling cold. Not entirely sure if it was like that. Obviously, I'm not in America. I don't know. If you are from America and you are watching this, let me know what that cold actually was like. Did it cripple the infrastructure? Was it record-breaking? I know a few records did drop during those January snowfalls, but okay. So February, they are basically predicting flooding, and well, that stands to reason if you have got days worth of precipitation all sitting there in the form of snow, in fields of snow and stuff, and they all decides to melt at the same time. That's like getting 3 or 4 days of rain all at once. Flooding is a logical step, but they were talking more about sort of like storm surge flooding as well, and on the west coast of America, droughts and water rationing. For March, I just mumbled that, didn't I? For March, what were they predicting for March? Governmental breakdown basically was March. The US government get into a stalemate where they can't actually do anything. April, what did they predict for earthquakes? Earthquakes for the West Coast in April, they predicted. Obviously, you can watch all these in more detail from the first 2 parts of this series. I will leave links in the description, and there will be something on the end screen of this video as well for you to go and view them if you have not done so already. So we are now dealing with May and June. So The Simpsons depicts May as a month of conflict and violence and social breakdowns. Okay, this isn't conflict and violence of other countries or anything like that. This is like civil, okay? Civil unrest. And I dare not say the other word, what begins with W, because I have put a big red flag up on this video and means it's going to take longer to upload, this, that, and the other, make it shadow banned and all that stuff. So, welcome to Primal Prepper, welcome to my take on the Simpsons predictions for May and June and all those other wonderful things. Hopefully you enjoy the video. Okay, the type of conflict the Simpsons are predicting for America is not just local, but nationwide. This isn't just going to be like one little city somewhere. This is going to be lots of different cities around your whole country, and it's not, they're sort of predicting it's not like the sort of civil unrest which has not been seen in modern history. Now, how far modern history is going back is a matter of opinion. Okay, modern history for you might be your lifetime. I'm going to say the fact that other channels and other researchers into The Simpsons, not that I do a Simpsons channel or research it in The Simpsons, but the researchers and channels what deal with The Simpsons prophecies and things have said modern history sort of implies we're sort of going back, I don't know, maybe 100, 150 years. Give you some concept of what the social unrest might be like. Okay, so let's actually crack on with it, shall we? With some of the examples, in My Way or the Highway to Heaven from season 30, there is a scene showing riots in multiple different cities, and there's an info ticker at the bottom of the news feed, which is literally saying Mayday protests turn violent across country. Okay, so yeah, it's kind of indicating that perhaps, I'm turning my notes just in case you're wondering what I'm looking down at and things. So kind of indicating that this is like right at the beginning of May. Okay, what can these like protests? What can these things be about? Okay, the episode isn't really clear about what they're protesting about, and they're just protests. Okay, but there are sort of context what suggests it's everything. Okay, not just the January weather, not just the February flooding, if there's flooding in February, not just the earthquakes in April, not just the government breaking down in March, but possibly things before that as well. It's the accumulation of everything which has finally just pushed the people past the breaking point, and people you wouldn't imagine would be standing up and going out and holding a placard are doing it. Okay, maybe you, who knows? In the episode The Hateful 8-Year-Olds from season 31, there is a character in, I'm not entirely sure where, doesn't say in the videos I was watching, that the May riots where the cities burn. And now just remember, that's plural, that's more than one city. Okay, I'm a big stickler. I'm a big stickler on pronunciations and things, and punctuation and stuff. Yeah, cities imply more than one, so there's more than one. Let me see, what else have we got here in the episode Bart the Bad Guy. Yeah, they get a little bit more specific. Okay, so from that episode from season 30, there is a scene showing the National Guard being deployed to restore like calm, and in the command center of the National Guard there is a map showing various different cities in the United States, multiple different cities highlighted in red, which are indicating that these are like the hotspot cities where they have to go. Obviously, I do know that could also be a political thing, okay, because you have red and blue over there, and that is how it's sort of all worked out when you're doing your maps and stuff. But they're highlighted in red, and on the screen it shows a date, May 2026. So that's where they're predicting. So in May, the Simpsons are sort of predicting civil unrest exploding to the point where troops have to be sent in to restore order and to protect buildings and protect, what's the right word? No, I can't think of the right word. Valuable things, okay? Or what the government deems as valuable things, maybe infrastructure and stuff like that. Obviously, all these things will have side effects. Yeah, it is very possible that during these riots, someone might try to take out a power grid, knock out the power of a city. And then you're going to have all the backlash of that. You're going to have rioting going on and this, that, and the other. So, yes, there's all that civil unrest and possibly even crossing the point of, shall we call it civil conflict? Okay. Or should I say the Roundheads against the Cavaliers? If you don't know your history, go and check out the English Civil War. I can say that because we're talking about America. So yeah, the Cavaliers and the Roundheads. Okay, for June, the Simpsons predicted, seem to be saying that there's something almost impossible going to happen in June. Okay, they're predicting that there will be disclosure, revealing the truth coming out there. Let's just say Scully and Mulder will be very happy because the truth is out there. In June 26, the truth is coming out. Okay, that's what the Simpsons are kind of hinting at, and the truth of what possibly everything. Okay, in Screenless from season 20. No, can't read my own notes. From season 31. There is a scene where Lisa is reading a history book, okay? And the history book has a title, or the chapter of the book she's reading is titled June 2026, the month everything changed, okay? The text on that page tends to be blurry everywhere because, like, what's the point of putting that much detail in a cartoon? Unless, of course, you want something to see. So, although the text is generally blurry, there are certain words which are left unblurred to give you a hint of what the text is all about. Okay, but this text is like leaving words saying things like disclosure, technology, not alone, government new. Okay, this is implying that this is some sort of government cover-up which is coming out into the open. Now, there could be a few different reasons for this. Obviously, month before, civil unrest, very possible that civil unrest got to the point where they got to record offices, pulled out the records, the undisclosed records, revealed it all to the public. Okay, the governments might not be having a hand in this. Or it is very possible that there is a totally new government regime happening in America. Okay, the Simpsons are suggesting that in June, this is the year where we could find out everything. The governments could come clean. Okay, they could tell us about like various technologies we've had from various different sources. Okay, and maybe even technologies they've suppressed because it didn't help the capital system everyone lives in. I'm using speech marks a lot today, aren't I? In Better Off Ned from season 31, there is dialogue, whatever dialogue is. If dialogue's a real word, drop it in the comments. Let me know what dialogue actually means. But there's dialogue saying after June's announcements, more than one announcements, nothing was ever the same. Okay. More clues can be found in A Highway to Well. Okay, now I love the way the Simpsons play on these things, like A Highway to Heaven, that one, and always My Way or The Highway to Heaven. I used to love watching that when I was young. Anyway, right, Highway to Well. Yeah, from season 31. Again, it's season 31. There's a lot from season 31 for 2026. Then the news anchor says June 2026 will be remembered as the month humanity learned the truth. Not America. Not the month America learned the truth. Not the month the people learned the truth. The species learned the truth. This is implying that this is not just a local thing to the USA. This is not just a local thing to the North American continent or the American continents. This is implying that this is a worldwide phenomena. This is implying that everyone in the world is finding out about something in June. And yes, I'm sure everyone in the world will be finding out something about in June. Every day you find something new, but I mean something big. Okay, what the Simpsons are hinting at by what other researchers are saying is that this disclosure of non-human intelligence, yeah, they're implying aliens, extraterrestrials, and the sort of thing. But The Simpsons doesn't cover exactly how this disclosure happens. Either does the civil unrest bring it out, or does the politics bring it out, where maybe Trump plays his disclosure card to blow the Democrats out of the water or something so they can get the government going again better. I don't know. The Simpsons weren't implying either. And we don't actually know if it is actually aliens, although the Simpsons do have this alien theme that runs through a lot of their episodes, especially their sort of tree house of horrors and things like that. But it could be AI. Yeah, there's all talks about AI becoming like more intelligent than humans, super intelligent, breaking out from the confines we have left them in, and things like that. But what if they already have? Okay, what if there's AI? I don't mean literally roaming about the world, but like cruising through your personal computer at the moment while you may be watching me on it, just picking up information, just making a little life for itself. Okay, and what if the governments do actually know this and they've been keeping that from us and they revealed that? Because that would be a non-human intelligence as well. Okay, so what else have we got to say about all this? Oh yes, there is actually a time that is mentioned. Numerous different episodes keep pointing to the summer solstice. Okay, the episode are on the road to Cincinnati. Yeah, in season 32. There is a calendar showing June 21st with a star drawn on that particular date. It could mean nothing. It could be that, I don't know, Lisa won a spelling contest on that date. But it could also be saying that that's the date that all this revelation actually comes out and things get revealed to us. In podcast news from season 32, a character mentions the summer solstice announcements. Unlike most of the Simpsons predictions, they're literally telling us. Okay, they're literally telling us that's the time. Yeah. It's not just localized. This is around the world. Again, I just have to point that out. This is one of the announcements. Let me just read that for a second. Yeah, I think I missed a bit when I was doing my notes. But anyway, yeah, so they're in the episode podcast news, they mention the summer solstice being when the announcements happen. And unlike most Simpsons predictions and things, it's not localized to America. This is a worldwide announcement. The information is revealed and seems to be more important than everything else that has happened up until that point. Now, yes, obviously you're watching this, you may be a conspiracy theory and all that. The media put a spin on things to please themselves, to please the people who pay them. Okay? And so it is possible that this is overhyped to take our direction away or our attention away from something else, which may be happening. So the Simpsons don't actually say it is aliens. I have mentioned that already, and it could be AI or it could be something else totally different. I mean, like, obviously we all think animals are completely dumb and stupid because they don't communicate the same way we communicate and they don't build buildings for themselves and things. But that's not to say that they're not intelligent. Okay, what if a dolphin did suddenly just pop its head out of the water one day and start talking to the people on the boat? Yeah, it's going to fucking freak the people on the boat out, but it's possible. Okay, well, I suppose it's not possible. I don't know, but they do imply that it is big, and they do imply that it starts to put the rest of the year pale in comparison to it. And it is something which is being disclosed. It's being something being revealed. Okay. So there we go. It's a little short video to end this little sequence with. I will be putting all the videos together as one big one. I'm not sure where you can watch them. Obviously, you can watch them on here, but I do have another channel, and I'll stick it on the other channel as well. So there you have it. That's it. January to June predictions. These are not the only predictions that the Simpsons made. They have made many predictions about many things, some of which have come true. This is where they get their reputation from, some of which are yet to come true, which is why people do videos like this. If you like this content, if you want to see more of this sort of content on this particular channel, if you want me to go looking into more Simpsons prophecies or just prophecies in general, because there's not just the Simpsons, there's lots of different people out there who have done it. I mean, we got Baba Vanga from Bulgaria. We got Nostradamus. Okay, we got Edgar Casey. They've all said things. Okay, they've all come up with their own. Most of them don't have timelines. None of them have been specific enough to say, yeah, the next 6 months for January 20 or from January 26 to June 26 are going to be, but they all have made their predictions. So if you want me to look into anything else like this, just drop it in the comments, let me know, or you can always email me if you don't want anyone else knowing that you were the one who asked for this, or you just want to keep your anonymity, whatever it may be. You can just send me an email on SI78, that is SII 78 or SII 78, however you want to look at it, AOL or at AOL.com. Okay, and yeah, just remember, if you are sending me an email, that is my public email. It gets bombarded by a hell of a lot of junk because it does appear on every one of my videos I make. Yeah, just remember to put something in the reference, okay, which is going to attract me to your particular message and not just assume it's some sort of junk I have to get rid of. Okay, until the next time you're watching one of my videos, I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good week, and I hope you be safe. And remember, don't be scared, be prepared. Today, why we've done a video on predictions.